Welcome, traveler of knowledge and dreamer of horizons. Tonight, we embark on a calm and curious journey across the continents of our world. We will explore 60 remarkable geography facts about the vast regions of Earth, each one chosen to both surprise your mind and soothe your imagination. These aren't ordinary trivia points. They are stories of landscapes, cultures, and wonders that have shaped human history and continue to define global life today. As you listen, you may notice your breathing slowing, your mind gently detaching from the day's noise. That is exactly the point of this journey, learning while resting, traveling the globe without ever leaving the comfort of your pillow. If you find this style of relaxing geography storytelling enjoyable, feel free to like the video and subscribe, but only if it feels natural to you. And I'd love to know where you're watching from, your country, your city, and even the time of day. Sharing that turns our little corner of the internet into a map of listeners across the world, a community woven together by curiosity. Now, let's begin our adventure. We start with a thought. Continents are not just large landmasses. They are cultural, natural, and economic pillars of human civilization. From the icy expanse of Antarctica to the tropical rainforests of South America, each region holds secrets that sound almost unbelievable. Tonight, we will open the atlas together, softly turning its pages. Here is our first fact. Africa, often thought of as one vast stretch of desert and savanna, is in reality one of the most geographically diverse continents on Earth. It contains the world's longest river, the Nile, which flows northward for about 6,650 kilometers through 11 countries before spilling into the Mediterranean Sea. What makes this fact even more fascinating is that many of Africa's great civilizations, Egypt, Nubia, Kush, flourished specifically because of the Nile's steady cycles of flooding and fertility. Without this river, human history in Africa would have unfolded very differently. Next, consider Asia. It is the largest continent, covering roughly 1/3 of the world's total land area, and is home to nearly 60% of the global population. Imagine the sheer diversity of landscapes in a single continent. From the frozen tundras of Siberia, to the Himalayan peaks, to the tropical islands of Indonesia. Asia alone holds both the world's highest point, Mount Everest, at 8,849 meters, the lowest point on land. The shoreline of the Dead Sea, about 430 meters below sea level. In one landmass, the extremes of altitude coexist, shaping weather, culture, and tourism. Europe, by contrast, is the second smallest continent in area, yet it has had an outsized influence on global history. Here's a fun fact. Europe is so compact that most of its countries are smaller than some single U.S. states. Yet, it contains around 50 sovereign nations. You can drive across multiple cultures, languages, and cuisines in just a few hours. This density of borders and cultural richness has made Europe a magnet for luxury tourism and cultural travel. North America offers another intriguing example. It is home to both the largest freshwater lake by surface area, Lake Superior, and one of the world's longest mountain ranges, the Rockies. Yet perhaps The most surprising fact is Greenland. Often associated with North America, despite being politically tied to Denmark in Europe. This overlap between continents and regions shows how geography is not only physical, but also cultural and political. South America dazzles with its biodiversity. The Amazon rainforest alone produces about 20% of the Earth's oxygen, earning it the nickname, the lungs of the planet. But beyond nature, geography here influences economy and culture. The Andes Mountains, stretching over 7,000 kilometers, are not only the longest continental mountain range, but also the site of ancient civilizations like the Inca, who developed intricate agricultural terraces still admired by historians today. Australia, often called both a country and a continent, is a land of extremes. Did you know that Australia is the driest inhabited continent, with about 70% of its land classified as arid or semi-arid? Yet, it is also home to the Great Barrier Reef, the largest coral system in the world. A natural wonder so vast it can be seen from space. In one continent, scarcity and abundance live side by side. It is the only continent with no permanent human residence, yet it contains about 60% of the world's fresh water locked in ice sheets. It is both lifeless and essential, barren and vital. Without its frozen stores, our global climate and sea levels would look very different. As we move forward in this series of facts, keep in mind that continents are not isolated. Their stories connect, overlap, and weave together like the threads of a global tapestry. In the next part, we will dive deeper into individual regions, uncovering secrets of deserts, forests, mountains, and coastlines. Close your eyes if you like. Let the map of the world unfold behind your eyelids. And picture the Nile winding through deserts, the Himalayas rising above the clouds, and the icy silence of Antarctica. Tonight, we'll travel together, slowly, softly, and with wonder. Let us begin our deeper exploration with Africa, a continent of striking contrasts and timeless beauty. While much of the world often associates Africa with savannas, deserts, or even its role in global economy through minerals and tourism, its geographical facts stretch far beyond stereotypes. Consider first the Sahara Desert, covering an area of over 9 million square kilometers. It is nearly the size of the United States. Yet, despite its image of endless sand dunes, 2/3 of the Sahara is actually rocky plateaus, mountains, and gravel plains. Within it, there are oases that have supported life for centuries, sustaining trade routes that linked sub-Saharan Africa with North Africa and Europe. Luxury items such as gold, ivory, and salt once traveled across these unforgiving landscapes, shaping world history. Now, let's move southward to the Congo Basin. This region contains the second largest rainforest in the world, surpassed only by the Amazon. The Congo River itself is the deepest river on Earth, plunging more than 220 meters into the Earth's crust. Imagine a river so deep that entire skyscrapers could fit beneath its waters. The river is also essential for local economies, as it provides transportation, fishing, and irrigation for millions of people. Africa is also home to one of the world's most famous natural spectacles, Victoria Falls, straddling the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. known locally as the smoke that thunders. The falls are more than 1,700 meters wide, making them the largest curtain of falling water on Earth. Tourism thrives here, drawing adventurers who marvel at both its beauty and its sheer power. At night, during a full moon, the mist can even create a rare lunar rainbow phenomenon, both eerie and magical. But Africa is not only about rivers and waterfalls. Consider Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Standing at 5,895 meters, it is the tallest mountain in Africa. Unlike the Himalayas or the Andes, Kilimanjaro does not require technical climbing skills, which is why thousands of travelers attempt its ascent each year. Yet even as tourism grows, the glaciers on Kilimanjaro are retreating rapidly, a reminder of how fragile these natural wonders can be in the face of climate change. Let's shift focus for a moment to geography that affects culture and identity. Africa has a coastline of more than 30,000 kilometers, dotted with ports that have shaped global trade for millennia. One of the most fascinating examples is Djibouti, located at the mouth of the Red Sea. Here, three tectonic plates meet: the African, Arabian, and Somali plates. This makes the region one of the few places on Earth where you can physically observe continental rifting. In time, geologists believe a new ocean will form here as the plates continue to pull apart. Imagine millions of years from now, the map of the world being redrawn because of this slow, quiet movement beneath our feet. Another curiosity lies in Lake Malawi, one of the African Great Lakes. It contains more species of fish than any other lake in the world, including hundreds of colorful cichlids found nowhere else. For local communities, the lake is both a food source and a cultural treasure. For scientists, it is an evolutionary laboratory, showing how life can diversify in one enclosed body of water. And then there is Madagascar. Though often thought of as part of Africa, its isolation for millions of years has created one of the most unique ecosystems on Earth. Over 90% of its wildlife is found nowhere else. From the iconic lemurs to the towering baobab trees, Madagascar's geography has made it a living museum of evolution, attracting ecotourism and research from around the world. Let's not forget about the Nile Delta in Egypt, one of the world's most fertile regions. It is not only a hub of agriculture, but also a cradle of human civilization. For thousands of years, its geography dictated the rhythm of life. The annual flooding of the Nile brought nutrients to the soil, sustaining crops that allowed ancient Egypt to thrive. Tourism today, from luxury cruises to archaeological expeditions, still relies on the Nile as both a physical and symbolic artery of the nation. Finally, Africa is also home to Lake Usul in Djibouti, the lowest point on the continent at 155 meters below sea level. It is one of the saltiest bodies of water in the world, even saltier than the Dead Sea. The shimmering white salt crusts surrounding the turquoise lake create an otherworldly landscape, almost as if you've stepped onto another planet. Africa's geography is not only immense, but deeply interconnected. Deserts hide ancient trade routes, and coastlines open gateways to the wider world. Each fact ties into human survival, cultural heritage, or natural wonder. As you drift deeper into this journey, imagine yourself standing at Victoria Falls, feeling the mist on your face. Or picture the stillness of Lake Ussel, where silence is broken only by the crackle of salt beneath your feet. Africa holds both intensity and calm, grandeur and intimacy. In the next part, we'll travel eastward, across oceans and mountains, to Asia, a continent of extremes, where geography shapes economies, cultures, and some of the most iconic wonders on Earth. Now, let us shift our attention to Asia, the world's largest continent, a place where geography reaches its most dramatic extremes. Here we find the highest peaks, the deepest trenches, vast deserts, dense jungles, and megacities built where nature's extremes meet. Asia's landscapes are not only immense, they are intimately tied to history, culture, and the economy of the entire globe. Let us begin with Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, standing at 8,848 meters above sea level. Located on the border between Nepal and China's Tibet Autonomous Region, Everest has long been a symbol of challenge and endurance. Climbers from around the world attempt the ascent, supported by the Sherpa people, whose knowledge of the mountains is unmatched. Everest itself is not static. It grows a few millimeters taller each year due to tectonic activity. Yet, despite its majesty, it also highlights fragility. Glaciers around Everest are melting rapidly, altering rivers that sustain millions of people in South Asia. If Everest represents the highest, then the Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific, represents the deepest. At its lowest point, called the Challenger Deep, it plunges nearly 11,000 meters beneath sea level. To put this into perspective, if Mount Everest were placed into the trench, its peak would still be submerged underwater. Scientists exploring these depths have discovered species that survive under crushing pressure, glowing in bioluminescence like something from a dream. Asia is also home to the Gobi Desert, stretching across northern China and southern Mongolia. Unlike the Sahara, the Gobi is known for its bare rock and gravel plains rather than towering sand dunes. Yet, it holds its own kind of mystery. It was once part of the Silk Road, and beneath its surface lie fossils of dinosaurs, including the first fur discovery of dinosaur eggs. Today, the Gobi is a place of resilience, where nomadic herders still follow traditions that have lasted for centuries. Another iconic Asian feature is the Caspian Sea, the largest inland body of water in the world, bordered by 5 countries: Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Azerbaijan. It is called a sea, but it is technically a lake, one so large that it feels like an ocean. Rich in oil and gas reserves, the Caspian also supports fishing industries, particularly caviar from sturgeon. Its geography thus impacts not just nature, but also luxury markets, global trade, and regional politics. From deserts and seas, let us move to rivers. The Yangtze in China is the longest river in Asia and the 3rd longest in the world, flowing for over 6,300 kilometers. It nourishes hundreds of millions of people and supports agriculture, tourism, and transportation. Along its banks lies the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric dam on Earth, an immense feat of technology that provides power for China's booming economy. Yet, it has also displaced millions of people and altered ecosystems. A reminder of how geography and human ambition constantly interact. Meanwhile, In India, the Ganges River holds a different kind of importance. Pilgrims travel from across the country to bathe in its waters, believing it purifies the soul. The river is both life-giving and spiritual, showing how geography is not only about landscapes, but also about identity, belief, and culture. Asia also contains one of the most unique saltwater lakes in the world, Lake Baikal in Siberia. It is the deepest freshwater lake on the planet, plunging over 1,600 meters, and it holds nearly 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater supply. In winter, the lake freezes solid, forming crystal clear ice that attracts tourists from around the globe. Beneath the surface, Lake Baikal harbors species found nowhere else, including the Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal in the world. Let's travel south to the Maldives, a nation made up of more than 1,000 coral islands in the Indian Ocean. Its geography is fragile, yet breathtaking, drawing luxury travelers to turquoise waters and white sand beaches. But the Maldives also faces an existential threat: rising sea levels, making it one of the most vulnerable places in the world to climate change. Tourism, culture, and even national survival depend on the delicate balance of geography here. Asia is also home to the Dead Sea, shared by Jordan and Israel, which lies at the lowest point on Earth's land surface, more than 400 meters below sea level. Its water is 10 times saltier than most oceans, making it impossible for most organisms to survive, hence the name. Visitors float effortlessly on its surface, drawn by both its strangeness and its reputation for therapeutic minerals. Beyond water and deserts, Asia's volcanic activity is equally fascinating. Japan, for instance, sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire and is home to Mount Fuji, an active stratovolcano that last erupted in the early 1700s. Fuji is both a natural wonder and a cultural icon, appearing in countless artworks, poems, and modern tourism campaigns. Nearby hot springs, or onsens, showcase how volcanic activity becomes part of everyday culture, blending luxury with tradition. Finally, let us not forget the vast Siberian tundra and permafrost regions. Though harsh and often inhospitable, they store immense amounts of carbon in frozen soil. Scientists warn that melting permafrost could release greenhouse gases, altering the global climate. Beneath this icy ground, however, lie immense reserves of oil, gas, and minerals, showing once again how Asia's geography underpins both economy and environment. Asia's landscapes are as diverse as they are immense. Towering peaks, abyssal trenches, sacred rivers, frozen lakes, and volcanic mountains. Each feature is not only a wonder in itself, but also a stage where culture, economy, and history unfold. As you reflect on these extremes, imagine yourself gazing at Mount Fuji at sunrise, floating weightlessly in the Dead Sea, or listening to the roar of the Yangtze as it rushes through its valleys. Asia's geography does not merely shape maps, shapes the rhythm of life itself. Next, we will move southward into Oceania, where islands, reefs, and remote landscapes hold some of the most unique and surprising geography on Earth. Now, let us journey into Oceania, a region that feels like an endless scattering of jewels across the Pacific Ocean. Unlike Asia or Africa, Oceania is not dominated by vast landmasses. Instead, its identity is built upon islands, large ones like Australia and New Guinea, and countless small atolls and volcanic peaks that barely break the surface of the sea. Each island carries stories of nature's creativity, human adaptation, and cultural resilience. We begin with Australia, often referred to as both a country and a continent. Its geography is defined by contrasts. On one side lies the outback, a vast desert heartland stretching across the interior, where temperatures soar and life survives against the odds. On the other side are lush coastal cities such as Sydney and Melbourne, built along harbors and beaches that attract millions of tourists each year. Australia's Great Barrier Reef, extending over 2,300 kilometers, is the largest coral reef system on Earth. Visible even from space, it is home to thousands of species, making it not only a natural wonder, but also a cornerstone of tourism, economy, and global biodiversity. Yet, like many fragile ecosystems, it faces threats from warming seas and coral bleaching. To the north of Australia lies Papua New Guinea, a land of rugged mountains, dense rainforests, and extraordinary cultural diversity. With more than 800 languages spoken, it is one of the most linguistically diverse places on Earth. Its highlands remained isolated for millennia, meaning many communities developed unique traditions almost untouched by the outside world. Papua New Guinea's geography has preserved human diversity in ways that remind us of how the land shapes identity. Moving further into the Pacific, we encounter Fiji, a nation of volcanic islands surrounded by turquoise lagoons and white beaches. It is a favorite destination for luxury travel, but its culture is equally rich. Traditional Fijian villages are built along coasts, often close to reefs that provide food and protection. The islands are also at risk from rising sea levels, showing how geography connects natural beauty with pressing challenges of survival. Hopping eastward, we arrive in Samoa and Tonga, where volcanic landscapes rise from the ocean floor. These islands are part of the Ring of Fire, where tectonic activity creates dramatic mountains, fertile soils, and sometimes devastating earthquakes and tsunamis. Despite their vulnerability, these islands hold deep cultural traditions, including Polynesian navigation, a skill that allowed ancient sailors to travel across vast oceans using stars, currents, and bird flight patterns. This mastery of geography without maps or technology remains one of humanity's greatest achievements. No discussion of Oceania would be complete without mentioning Hawaii, a U.S. state in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii's islands are volcanic in origin, with Mauna Kea on the Big Island being the tallest mountain in the world when measured from its base on the ocean. Floor rises more than 10,000 meters in total. The islands are also home to Mauna Loa, one of the largest active volcanoes on Earth. Hawaii blends raw volcanic power with lush valleys, waterfalls, and a culture shaped by Polynesian heritage. Its geography attracts millions of tourists, but also reminds locals of the power of the earth beneath their feet. Further south lies New Zealand, a country often described as one of the most beautiful on Earth. Its landscapes range from snow-capped mountains in the southern Alps to rolling green hills and geothermal areas filled with geysers and hot springs. New Zealand sits on the boundary of the Pacific and Indo-Australian tectonic plates, which explains both its frequent earthquakes and its unique natural formations. Maori culture is deeply tied to these landscapes, with mountains, rivers, and lakes considered sacred. Tourism thrives here, not only for its natural beauty, but also for its film industry. Many travelers come to see the real-world landscapes of Middle-earth. Beyond the well-known islands, Oceania is filled with smaller, lesser-known places with extraordinary geography. Kiribati, for example, is a nation spread across 33 atolls that straddle the equator. Its people live close to the sea, fishing and farming coconuts, yet the islands rise only a few meters above sea level. Kiribati has already purchased land in Fiji as a precaution, preparing for the possibility that rising seas may one day make parts of their homeland uninhabitable. Tuvalu, another small island nation, is one of the least visited countries in the world. With fewer than 20,000 inhabitants, it receives only a few thousand tourists each year. Its isolation has preserved its traditional way of life, but has also left it vulnerable to economic pressures and climate change. Despite its fragility, Tuvalu's geography is central to global discussions about the future of low-lying islands. In French Polynesia, the island of Bora Bora stands out as one of the most iconic luxury destinations in the world. With its turquoise lagoon and over-water bungalows, Bora Bora is the very image of paradise. Yet its beauty is the result of ancient volcanic activity, where a collapsed volcanic cone left behind a sheltered lagoon. Here, geography meets tourism in a way that sustains entire economies. Another wonder of Oceania is Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, famous for its moai statues. These massive stone figures, some weighing more than 80 tons, were carved centuries ago by Polynesian settlers. How they transported them across the island remains a mystery, though recent studies suggest they may have been walked upright using ropes. The statues gaze inland as if watching over the islanders, and remind us how geography influences human imagination and creativity. Even Antarctica, often associated with the southernmost continent, is sometimes considered part of Oceania's wider region, due to its connection with New Zealand and Australia. Though largely uninhabited, it is a land of ice and extremes, with mountain ranges buried beneath glaciers and penguins surviving in conditions no human city could endure. Its frozen geography stores most of the world's fresh water, acting as a silent regulator of global climate. Oceania may not have the immense landmasses of Asia or Africa, but its scattered islands reveal something equally profound: that geography is about connection as much as it is about isolation. Each island is a world of its own, shaped by volcanic fire, ocean waves, and human resilience. Together, they form a region where nature's creativity meets human adaptation in some of the most fascinating ways. As you let your mind drift across these islands, imagine the sound of waves against coral reefs, the glow of lava in the night sky, or the silence of an atoll at dawn. Oceania's geography is not just about places, it is about the feeling of being small in a vast, endless sea. Next, we will sail eastward to the Americas, exploring the diverse landscapes of North and South America, from towering mountains to endless plains and mysterious jungles. Now, let us set our course across the Pacific and arrive in North America, a continent of striking contrasts, where geography shapes not only the land, but also the cultures, economies, and identities of its people. From icy tundra in the north to tropical rainforests in the south, North America's landscapes are as varied as any on Earth. We begin in Canada, a nation defined by vastness. It is the second largest country in the world, covering almost 10 million square kilometers. Much of its land is uninhabited wilderness, stretching from the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the frozen expanses of the Arctic. The Canadian Shield, a massive geological formation of ancient rock, forms the foundation of much of the country. In its forests and lakes, one finds both serenity and immense natural resources that support the economy, from timber to minerals. Tourism, too, thrives in Canada, with visitors drawn to Banff and Jasper national parks, where snow-dusted mountains rise over turquoise lakes. To the south lies the United States, a country whose geography is almost a world in itself. Its landscapes include deserts like Death Valley, one of the hottest places on Earth, and Alaska's Denali, the highest mountain in North America, standing at 6,190 meters. The United States also contains the Mississippi River, a natural highway of commerce and culture, stretching over 3,700 kilometers and shaping much of the nation's history. Yellowstone, the world's first national park, reminds us of the continent's volcanic origins, with geysers and hot springs that still bubble and steam beneath the surface. The diversity of landscapes in the U.S. fuels industries ranging from agriculture in the Midwest, as fertile plains, to tourism in cities like New York and Las Vegas. Mexico, to the south, is a land where geography is deeply entwined with history. Its central highlands, known as the Mexican Plateau, were the cradle of ancient civilizations such as the Aztecs. Volcanic peaks like and loom over modern cities, blending myth and geology. Mexico also has stunning coastlines, from the Caribbean beaches up to the Pacific cliffs of Baja California. It cenotes natural sinkholes filled with crystal-clear water, were sacred to the Maya, and now attract travelers from across the globe. Mexico's geography is a living story, where nature, culture, and economy meet in every valley and shore. Moving north again, Greenland deserves attention. Though politically tied to Denmark, it is geographically part of North America. Its icy surface hides a vast landmass, with glaciers slowly carving fjords into its coasts. Greenland's melting ice sheets are one of the most important indicators of global climate change, affecting sea levels worldwide. Yet, its geography also offers hope, with potential for hydroelectric energy and tourism centered on its dramatic Arctic scenery. In Central America, the geography grows narrower, but no less impressive. Countries such as Costa Rica and Panama sit at the meeting point of two great oceans. Costa Rica, though small, is one of the most biodiverse places in the world, with rainforests, volcanoes, and beaches all within a short distance. Its economy thrives on ecotourism, where visitors come to hike trails through cloud forests, or watch sea turtles nest on remote shores. Panama, meanwhile, is defined by its canal, an engineering marvel that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This narrow strip of water has transformed global trade, showing how geography and technology combine to shape the world economy. The Caribbean islands are also an integral part of North America. Each island has its own story. Cuba, the largest, is a mix of mountains, plains, and fertile valleys. While Jamaica is known for its blue mountains and tropical coastlines, the Bahamas, with their shallow turquoise waters, are the result of ancient coral reefs that built up over millennia. These islands, though small, play a big role in global tourism, drawing millions each year to experience their beaches and cultures. What makes North America so fascinating is not only its variety of landscapes, but also how those landscapes shape its people. In the Arctic, Inuit communities continue traditions adapted to icy seas and long winters. In the Great Plains, agriculture supports economies and cultures that have developed around fertile soils. In cities like Los Angeles or Toronto, geography combines with migration to create diverse, multicultural hubs. Even natural extremes tell powerful stories. Hurricanes sweep across the Gulf of Mexico. Earthquakes rattle California, and blizzards blanket Canada. These forces remind us that geography is not only beauty, but also challenge, demanding resilience and innovation. The building of levees, the development of renewable energy, and the preservation of national parks are all responses to the continent's vast and sometimes volatile environment. North America's geography also plays a role in global luxury and tourism industries. Ski resorts in Colorado and Whistler offer winter sports experiences amid breathtaking mountain landscapes. Hawaii's beaches attract honeymooners and travelers in search of paradise. New York's skyscrapers and landmarks, though man-made, reflect the interaction of people with the geography of islands and rivers. From nature to cities, this continent shows that geography is not static, it evolves with human imagination. As we close this part of our journey, let us imagine traveling from the glaciers of Greenland to the deserts of Arizona, from the tropical rainforests of Costa Rica to the snowy peaks of Alaska within a single continent. North America is a reminder that the Earth's geography is endlessly diverse, and that each landscape is both a challenge and a gift. Next, we will travel south into South America, a land of towering mountains, vast rainforests, and coastlines where culture and geography are inseparable. Now, let us journey further south, across the equator, into South America, a continent where nature displays its grandeur in some of the most dramatic ways imaginable. This region is often described as wild, vibrant, and deeply connected to its landscapes. From the world's largest rainforest to the longest mountain range on Earth, South America offers geography that feels almost larger than life. We begin with the Andes, a mountain chain that runs like a spine along the continent's western edge. Stretching over 7,000 kilometers, the Andes are the longest continental mountain range in the world. Within their peaks lie ancient civilizations, modern cities, and some of the most breathtaking natural wonders of our planet. Mount Aconcagua in Argentina rises to nearly 7,000 meters, the highest point in the southern hemisphere. Yet, the Andes are not just about elevation. They are also home to unique cultures. From Quechua-speaking communities to Andean festivals that blend indigenous and Spanish traditions. The mountains also provide essential resources, from agriculture on terraced slopes to minerals that support modern economies. To the north of the continent, the Amazon basin dominates, covering over 5.5 million square kilometers. The Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical forest in the world. It produces about 20% of the planet's oxygen and is home to an unimaginable diversity of life. Jaguars, giant river otters, pink dolphins, and countless plant species thrive in its lush canopy and winding rivers. The Amazon River itself, stretching more than 6,400 kilometers, carries more water than any other river on Earth. Its basin is so vast that it influences global weather patterns. For the people living along its banks, the river is a lifeline, providing food, transportation, and cultural identity. Tourism has grown here as well, with eco-lodges and guided river journeys offering travelers a glimpse of its magic. Brazil, the largest country in South America, is defined by this rainforest, but also by its coastline. The iconic beaches of Rio de Janeiro, such as Copacabana and Ipanema, showcase a geography where mountains meet the sea. Inland, the Pantanal, the world's largest tropical wetland. Brazil's very geography supports a powerful economy that spans agriculture, energy, and tourism, making it a global player in multiple industries. Heading southwest, we find one of Earth's most surreal landscapes, the Atacama Desert in Chile. It is often called the driest place in the world, with some areas receiving no measurable rainfall for centuries. Yet, beneath its barren surface lie rich deposits of copper and lithium, critical resources in today's global economy. The Atacama is also a haven for astronomers. With its clear skies and high elevation, it hosts some of the most advanced observatories in the world, allowing scientists to peer deep into the universe. The desert's stark beauty, with salt flats, geysers, and red rock valleys, also draws adventurous travelers who seek landscapes that feel almost Martian. Further south, Patagonia, shared by Argentina and Chile, presents a land of glaciers, windswept plains, and dramatic peaks. Torres del Paine National Park, with its jagged granite towers, has become a symbol of wilderness. Patagonia's glaciers are among the fastest retreating in the world, serving as a striking reminder of climate change. Yet, its remoteness also makes it one of the last truly wild regions on Earth. Luxury eco-lodges here offer visitors a chance to experience untouched landscapes while contributing to conservation efforts. South America is also home to Iguazu Falls, located on the border of Brazil and Argentina. This massive waterfall system includes nearly 300 individual cascades, stretching for 2.7 kilometers. It is taller than Niagara Falls, making it one of the greatest natural spectacles on the planet. The falls are surrounded by lush rainforest where butterflies, toucans, and monkeys thrive. Standing near the thundering water, one feels the raw power of geography in motion. Let us not forget Lake Titicaca, straddling the border of Peru and Bolivia. It is the highest navigable lake in the world, sitting at an altitude of over 3,800 meters. For the Inca and earlier cultures, the lake was considered sacred, a place of origin and myth. Today, its islands still host traditional communities, such as the Euros people, who build floating islands from reeds. Tourism here is both cultural and natural, offering a serene glimpse into life at high altitude. On the eastern side of the continent, we encounter the Pampas, vast fertile plains that stretch across Argentina and Uruguay. These lands are central to cattle ranching and agriculture, industries that have shaped local economies and global exports. Argentina's reputation for fine beef and wine is deeply tied to this geography. The Pampas also reflect how landscapes influence identity gaucho culture. With its traditions of horseback riding and independence, remains a symbol of national pride. In Venezuela, one of South America's lesser-known wonders rises, Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall in the world, plunging nearly 1,000 meters from the summit of a tepuy, or tabletop mountain. These flat-topped mountains, unique to the Guiana Highlands, are ancient geological formations that create isolated ecosystems. Many plant and animal species found here exist nowhere else. The sheer remoteness of Angel Falls means that reaching it often requires a combination of flights, river travel, and hiking an adventure that highlights the continent's untamed spirit. South America is a continent where extremes meet tropical rainforests and icy glaciers, soaring mountains and sun-baked deserts, fertile plains and rugged coastlines. Each landscape is not only visually stunning, but also deeply influential, shaping economies, cultures, and histories. Tourism thrives here because geography itself is the attraction, offering everything from luxury beach resorts to high-altitude treks. As we leave South America, let us reflect on its vibrancy. This is a land where the earth reveals its most powerful forms, from roaring waterfalls to vast jungles. From deserts that resemble alien worlds to mountains that scrape the heavens. Each place tells us something about the resilience of both nature and humanity. Next, we will travel across the Atlantic to Africa, a continent of ancient deserts, mighty rivers, and some of the most iconic wildlife on the planet. Now we journey to Africa, a continent that feels like the very heart of the earth itself. Its landscapes are some of the oldest on the planet, its deserts stretching across ancient stone, its rivers carving lifelines through arid lands, and its savannas supporting some of the most iconic wildlife known to humanity. Africa's geography is both timeless and alive, offering a unique blend of history, culture, and natural beauty that continues to captivate the world. Let us begin with the Sahara Desert, covering over 9 million square kilometers. The Sahara is the largest hot desert on Earth. To put its size into perspective, it is nearly as large as the entire United States. Its golden dunes, rocky plateaus, and occasional oases create landscapes that seem endless, where silence itself feels vast. Yet, the Sahara is not lifeless. Nomadic peoples, such as the Tuareg, have lived here for centuries, moving across the sands with camels, trading goods, and preserving traditions. The desert also hides traces of a wetter, pastinationed rock art depicting giraffes, crocodiles, and lush vegetation tells us that thousands of years ago, the Sahara was once green. Moving south, we encounter the Nile River, the longest river in the world. Stretching over 6,600 kilometers, it flows through 11 countries before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. For millennia, the Nile has been Egypt's lifeblood, making fertile land possible in an otherwise desert landscape. The river was central to the rise of ancient Egyptian civilization, supporting agriculture, trade, and culture. Today, the Nile remains vital to modern economies, providing water, transportation, and hydroelectric power. Its presence is a reminder of how geography can sustain life across centuries. East Africa brings us to the Great Rift Valley, a geological marvel that stretches over 6,000 kilometers from Lebanon down to Mozambique. This vast rift is the result of tectonic forces slowly pulling the continent apart. Within it lie some of Africa's most breathtaking features: volcanic mountains like Mount Kilimanjaro, vast lakes such as Lake Tanganyika and Lake Victoria, and fertile lands that have supported human life for millennia. In fact, many anthropologists call this region the cradle of humanity, where some of the earliest evidence of human ancestors has been discovered. Standing in the Rift Valley is like standing at the intersection of Earth's deep past and our shared human story. Mount Kilimanjaro itself, located in Tanzania, rises nearly 6,000 meters above sea level and is the tallest peak in Africa. Its snow-capped summit stands in striking contrast to the savannas below. Despite being near the equator, its glaciers have persisted for thousands of years, though they are now rapidly retreating due to climate change. Kilimanjaro is not only a natural wonder, but also a cultural symbol, appearing in local myths and global imagination alike. For travelers, climbing its slopes is both a physical challenge and a spiritual journey. To the west, the Congo River winds through the world's second-largest rainforest, second only to the Amazon. This rainforest, often called the lungs of Africa, is home to extraordinary biodiversity, including gorillas, chimpanzees, and countless bird species. The Congo River itself is one of the deepest in the world, plunging more than 200 meters in some places. Its powerful currents and rapids make it both a vital resource and a challenging route for transport. The region's natural wealth, from minerals to timber, is immense. But it also highlights the delicate balance between economic development and environmental conservation. Heading south, the Kalahari Desert spans parts of Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. Unlike the Sahara, the Kalahari is a semi-arid desert, with grasses and shrubs that support wildlife such as lions, meerkats, and antelope. It is also home to the San people, one of the world's oldest continuous cultures, whose traditional way of life includes hunting and gathering. The Kalahari's landscapes, with red sands and endless horizons, carry a beauty that is quiet yet profound. In southern Africa, one of the continent's most spectacular natural wonders awaits Victoria Falls, located on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. The falls stretch more than 1,700 meters across and plunge over 100 meters into the gorge below. Local people call it Mosio Atanya, meaning the smoke that thunders, a name that captures both its misty spray and powerful roar. Victoria Falls is one of the world's largest waterfalls, drawing travelers from across the globe. Its surrounding area is a hub for tourism, offering everything from luxury river cruises to adrenaline-filled bungee jumps, all while highlighting the importance of conservation. Africa's coastlines are equally remarkable. The Namib Desert, one of the oldest deserts in the world, stretches along the Atlantic coast of Namibia. Here, massive sand dunes meet the ocean, creating a landscape that feels surreal. Some of these dunes rise over 300 meters high, making them among the tallest in the world. Shipwrecks scattered along the skeleton coast tell stories of peril and mystery, while the desert itself supports hardy plants and animals adapted to extreme conditions. Another fascinating feature lies in Madagascar, an island off Africa's southeast coast. Often called the eighth continent due to its unique biodiversity, Madagascar is home to species found nowhere else on Earth, such as lemurs and the towering baobab trees. Its isolation over millions of years has allowed life to evolve in extraordinary ways, making it a living laboratory of nature. Tourism here thrives on this uniqueness, with travelers drawn to its rainforests, coral reefs, and cultural heritage. Africa is also home to Lake Malawi, one of the deepest and most biodiverse freshwater lakes in the world. With crystal clear waters and thousands of species of colorful cichlid fish, it is sometimes described as an underwater paradise. For local communities, the lake provides food, transport, and identity, while for visitors, it offers serene beauty against a backdrop of rolling hills and mountains. Across the continent, Africa's geography is not only vast and varied, but deeply intertwined with human history. Its deserts, rivers, mountains, and rainforests have shaped civilizations, sustained economies, and inspired cultures. From luxury safaris on the Serengeti Plains to ecotourism in mountain ranges, geography here directly supports modern industries while reminding us of Earth's oldest stories. As we reflect on Africa, we see a land where extremes converge: thundering waterfalls and silent deserts, lush jungles and ancient rivers, places where humanity began and where it continues to thrive. Next, we will journey northward across the Mediterranean into Europe, a continent where geography and history are deeply intertwined, shaping cultures, economies, and modern societies in profound ways. Now we arrive in Europe, a continent that may be small in size compared to Africa or Asia, but holds an extraordinary diversity of landscapes, cultures, and histories. Europe's geography has played a central role in shaping global travel, trade, politics, and education for thousands of years. From icy fjords in the north to sunlit coastlines in the south, and from fertile plains to rugged mountain ranges, every corner of Europe tells a story of nature and human civilization intertwined. Let us begin in Scandinavia. Norway, Sweden, and Finland are famous for their fjords, deep glacial valleys carved during the last ice age. Norway's fjords, such as Gi, Rangerfjord, and Enkrafjord, are now UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These dramatic waterways, with towering cliffs and waterfalls cascading into the sea, attract millions of tourists seeking both luxury cruises and nature-based experiences. The fjords also represent how glaciers shaped Europe's landscapes, leaving behind beauty born from ice. To the north lies Iceland, a land of fire and ice. Its geography is defined by active volcanoes, vast glaciers, and geothermal springs. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge runs directly through Iceland, making it one of the most volcanically active places on Earth. Eruptions like Eyjafjallajökull in 2010 captured global attention, reminding us of how geography can disrupt air travel, economies, and daily life far beyond the island itself. At the same time, Iceland's geothermal energy has made it a leader in sustainable technology. With much of its electricity generated from renewable resources, tourism here thrives on this unique blend of natural extremes. Visitors soak in hot springs, explore lava fields, and witness the northern lights dancing across the sky. Moving south, we find the Alps stretching across 8 countries, including Switzerland, Austria, France, and Italy. These mountains, with peaks soaring above 4,000 meters, are a hub for winter tourism and luxury travel, offering skiing, mountaineering, and alpine resorts. Beyond recreation, the Alps are also a cultural crossroads. Mountain passes once served as trade routes, connecting northern and southern Europe, and today they continue to support economies through tourism, agriculture, and hydropower. The Alps highlight how geography can create natural barriers, while also fostering exchange. Europe's rivers are equally significant. The Danube, the continent's second longest river, flows through 10 countries, more than any other river in the world. From its source in Germany's Black Forest to its delta on the Black Sea, the Danube links cultures, economies, and ecosystems. Its waters have inspired music, literature, and history, while today it supports industries like shipping and tourism. Cruises along the Danube allow travelers to experience the cultural richness of Central and Eastern Europe. From Vienna's classical heritage to the vibrant traditions of the Balkans. In Western Europe, the Rhine River plays a similar role. Flowing from Switzerland through Germany and the Netherlands, the Rhine has been a vital trade route since Roman times. Its valley, dotted with castles and vineyards, showcases a mix of natural beauty and cultural history. Luxury river cruises and tourism have flourished here, adding to the Rhine's role as both an economic and cultural lifeline. Southern Europe brings us to the Mediterranean, a sea that has been called the cradle of Western civilization. Its geography connects 3 continents, Europe, Africa, and Asia, making it a hub of trade, migration, and cultural exchange for thousands of years. The coastlines of Spain, Italy, and Greece are among the most visited in the world, attracting travelers with their blend of history, cuisine, and natural beauty. The Mediterranean climate, with warm summers and mild winters, has shaped agriculture, supporting olive groves, vineyards, and citrus orchards that continue to define local economies and global exports. Within the Mediterranean lies Greece, a country of islands and mountains. Its rugged terrain shaped the development of ancient city-states like Athens and Sparta, influencing history, culture, and education worldwide. The geography of Greece encouraged seafaring and exploration, spreading ideas and innovations that continue to echo today. Even now, tourism thrives on this blend of natural beauty and cultural heritage, drawing millions to the Aegean Islands, the ruins of Athens, and the sunny coastlines. Farther west, the Iberian Peninsula, home to Spain and Portugal, offers a striking geographical variety. From the Pyrenees Mountains to the golden beaches of the Algarve, its landscapes are diverse and deeply connected to history. Portugal's Atlantic coast launched the age of exploration, sending ships across the seas and reshaping global economies and cultures. Today, tourism, trade, and technology all flow through its ports. showing how geography continues to shape opportunity. To the east, the vast expanse of Russia stretches across both Europe and Asia, making it the largest country in the world. Its European side includes fertile plains and important rivers like the Volga, the longest in Europe. Russia's size and resources have influenced global history, politics, and economics, and its geography, spanning 11 time zones, remains unmatched in scale. In Northern Europe, the British Isles highlight another unique geography. The United Kingdom and Ireland are surrounded by seas that have long defined their cultures and economies. The White Cliffs of Dover, Scotland's rugged highlands, and Ireland's green hills are landscapes steeped in both beauty and legend. As islands, their history has been shaped by the sea through trade, exploration, and defense. Even today, maritime industries and tourism continue to thrive on their geography. Europe's geography is also deeply tied to modern sustainability and urban life. Cities like Amsterdam and Venice are shaped by waterways, with canals serving as both charm and challenge. Rising sea levels now pose questions for the future, showing how geography continues to influence societies in both timeless and urgent ways. From snow-capped peaks to sunlit shores, Europe is a continent where geography meets culture, economy, and history at every turn. Its landscapes have inspired art, literature, and travel for centuries, and they continue to shape tourism, education, and technology today. As we leave Europe, our path leads us eastward into Asia, the largest and most populous continent, where mountains, deserts, and rivers define some of the world's most dynamic regions. Asia, the world's largest continent, stretches from the frozen tundra of Siberia to the tropical jungles of Southeast Asia, from the deserts of the Middle East to the towering peaks of the Himalayas, covering nearly 1/3 of Earth's land area and home to more than half of the world's population. Asia's geography is as diverse as its cultures and economies. Each region tells a story not only of natural wonders, but also of human resilience, travel, and global connections. Let us begin with the Himalayas, the highest mountain range on Earth, stretching across India, Nepal, Bhutan, China, and Pakistan. These mountains include Mount Everest, which rises to 8,849 meters above sea level, known as Sagarmatha in Nepal and Chomolungma in Tibet. Everest has long captured the imagination of explorers and adventurers. Yet, the Himalayas are more than just tall peaks. They are also the source of many of Asia's great rivers, such as the Ganges, the Brahmaputra, and the Yangtze. These rivers sustain agriculture, support vast populations, and influence economies far beyond their origin. The Himalayas also play a spiritual role, with many sacred sites nestled among the mountains, drawing travelers seeking both adventure and inner peace. To the north lies the vast expanse of Siberia, a region covering much of Russia's Asian territory. Its geography includes taiga forests, tundra, and some of the coldest inhabited places on Earth, such as Oymukong, where winter temperatures can drop below -50 degrees Celsius. Despite these harsh conditions, Siberia is rich in resources, including oil, gas, and minerals making it a crucial part of the global economy. The Trans-Siberian Railway, stretching over 9,000 kilometers, is the longest railway in the world and a symbol of human determination to connect across vast, challenging landscapes. Shifting southward, Central Asia offers a geography defined by deserts and steppes. The Karakum and Kizilkum deserts stretch across Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan, while the vast Eurasian steppe once served as a highway for nomadic cultures and empires. This region played a central role in the Silk Road, linking China to Europe through trade routes that carried silk, spices, and ideas. Today, Central Asia remains a crossroads of energy resources, culture, and tourism, with travelers drawn to cities like Samarkand and Bukhara, where geography meets history in architecture and tradition. China's geography is equally diverse, with deserts, rivers, mountains, and fertile plains shaping its vast territory. The Gobi Desert, one of the largest in the world, lies in northern China and southern Mongolia. Meanwhile, the Yangtze River, stretching more than 6,300 kilometers, is Asia's longest river and a vital artery for transportation, agriculture, and industry. Along its banks stands the Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric power station, a symbol of how geography and technology intersect to meet the needs of modern societies. In Southeast Asia, geography is defined by archipelagos, coastlines, and tropical forests. Indonesia, an island nation with more than 17,000 islands, sits along the Pacific Ring of Fire, making it one of the most volcanically active regions in the world. Mount Krakatoa's eruption in 1883 remains one of the most powerful volcanic events in recorded history, reshaping coastlines and affecting global climates. Yet, these same volcanic soils make the land fertile, supporting agriculture and tourism in places like Bali. Nearby, the Philippines also balances volcanic landscapes with lush forests and stunning beaches, drawing visitors from around the globe. South Asia presents another tapestry of landscapes. India's geography ranges from the Thar Desert in the west to the fertile Ganges Plain, from the tropical coasts of Kerala to the snowy peaks of the north. The Ganges River, revered as sacred in Hindu tradition, is both a spiritual and economic lifeline, supporting millions of people with its waters. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka, an island just south of India, is celebrated for its tea plantations, beaches, and biodiversity, a jewel in the Indian Ocean that blends natural wonder with cultural richness. To the west, the Middle East highlights geography shaped by deserts, rivers, and seas. The Arabian Desert, stretching across much of Saudi Arabia, is among the largest continuous sand deserts in the world. Yet nestled within this arid landscape are oases and cities that have flourished thanks to trade and technology. The Persian Gulf, bordered by nations like the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, is not only a hub of luxury tourism and culture, but also central to the global energy economy. The contrast between ancient deserts and futuristic skylines like Dubai shows how geography and human innovation interact in fascinating ways. Moving east, Japan offers another unique geography. This island nation is shaped by mountains, forests, and coastlines, with over 70% of its land covered in mountains. Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, leading to frequent earthquakes and volcanic activity. Yet, these challenges have fostered resilience and innovation. From Mount Fuji, a symbol of beauty and culture, to modern cities like Tokyo that thrive in seismic zones, Japan's geography is both a challenge and an inspiration. Asia also contains some of the lowest points on Earth. The Dead Sea, located between Israel, Jordan, and Palestine, is the lowest exposed point on Earth's surface at around 430 meters below sea level. Its waters are so salty that people float effortlessly, and its minerals have been prized for health and beauty for centuries. This unique geography makes the Dead Sea a place where science, tourism, and history meet. Finally, Asia is home to the world's largest inland body of water, the Caspian Sea, bordered by 5 countries. Despite its name, it is technically a lake, but its size rivals that of seas, and it plays a crucial role in energy production, biodiversity, and trade. Its shores have been cultural meeting points for millennia, connecting Europe and Asia through geography and commerce. From the towering Himalayas to the vast deserts, from fertile rivers to tropical islands, Asia's geography is unmatched in scale and variety. It shapes global culture, economy, and history, while offering landscapes of breathtaking beauty. Next, we will journey southward into Australia and Oceania, a region where unique ecosystems, ancient landscapes, and remote islands create one of the most fascinating geographies on Earth. Now we travel to the southern hemisphere, to Australia and Oceania, where geography tells some of the most unusual and captivating stories on our planet. This region is defined by ancient landscapes, isolated ecosystems, and islands scattered like jewels across the Pacific Ocean. Its geography feels like a world apart, where nature has taken its own unique course, giving rise to environments unlike any other on Earth. Australia itself is both a country and a continent, sometimes called the island continent, due to its solitary position in the southern seas. Geologically, it is one of the oldest landmasses in the world, with some rocks dating back more than 4 billion years. Unlike continents shaped by towering mountain chains, much of Australia's land is flat, worn down by time and erosion. The Great Dividing Range, however, stretches along the eastern coast, creating fertile valleys and influencing the climate of cities like Sydney and Brisbane. One of Australia's most iconic features is the outback, a vast interior region of deserts, plains, and rugged landscapes. The outback is not a single defined area, but rather a term for the remote inland parts of the continent. Temperatures here can be extreme. Rainfall is scarce. Yet this land has sustained Aboriginal Australians for tens of thousands of years. Their knowledge of the land, water sources, and sustainable living practices represents one of the deepest cultural connections to geography in human history. Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, rises dramatically from the flat plains of Central Australia. This massive sandstone monolith is sacred to the Anangu people, who are its traditional custodians. At sunrise and sunset, the rock changes color, glowing red, orange, and purple, creating a breathtaking natural display that attracts visitors from around the world. Uluru is not only a natural wonder, but also a cultural treasure, a place where geography and spirituality converge. Australia's coastal regions reveal another side of its geography. The Great Barrier Reef, stretching over 2,300 kilometers along Queensland's coast, is the largest coral reef system on Earth, visible even from space. It is home to an extraordinary variety of marine life. Coral reefs thrive in warm, shallow waters, making this region a paradise for biodiversity and a vital resource for tourism and the local economy. Yet, the reef also faces challenges from climate change, reminding us of the fragile balance between natural wonders and human impact. Shifting to Oceania, we find an immense scattering of islands across the Pacific Ocean, grouped into regions known as Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. Each cluster of islands tells a unique story of geography, culture, and human migration. In Polynesia, islands such as Hawaii, Samoa, and Tonga are volcanic in origin. Hawaii, for example, continues to grow as lava from Kilauea and Mauna Loa flows into the sea, adding new land to the islands. The geography of these volcanic islands has shaped not only their landscapes, black sand beaches, and lush valleys, but also the cultures of the people who inhabit them. Navigation traditions in Polynesia are legendary, with seafarers using the stars, currents, and birds to travel vast distances long before modern technology. Micronesia, consisting of thousands of small islands, reveals another side of Pacific geography. Many of these islands are atolls, ring-shaped coral islands surrounding lagoons. Atolls form when volcanic islands sink over time, leaving coral reefs around them. Though small and low-lying, these islands are rich in marine ecosystems and cultural heritage. Yet, they are also among the most vulnerable regions in the world to rising sea levels, a reminder of how geography and climate are closely linked. Melanesia, which includes Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and the Solomon Islands, is a region of rugged mountains, dense rainforests, and volcanic activity. Papua New Guinea, in particular, is one of the most geographically diverse nations, with hundreds of islands, highland valleys, and isolated communities. Its geography has contributed to extraordinary cultural diversity. Over 800 languages are spoken here, making it one of the most linguistically rich areas in the world. New Zealand, another jewel of Oceania, combines volcanic landscapes, glaciers, and dramatic coastlines. Its two main islands are shaped by tectonic forces along the boundary of the Pacific and Indo-Australian plates. This makes New Zealand prone to earthquakes, but it also creates landscapes of breathtaking beauty. From the fjords of the South Island to the geothermal fields of Rotorua, New Zealand's geography attracts travelers seeking both adventure and serenity. Tourism thrives here, with luxury lodges, hiking trails, and cultural experiences tied directly to the land. One of the most fascinating features of Oceania is Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, famous for its moai statues. These massive stone figures, carved by the island's Polynesian inhabitants centuries ago, stand as silent guardians against a backdrop of volcanic hills and ocean horizons. The geography of Easter Island played a role in shaping its history, including the rise and decline of its society. Today, it serves as both a cultural heritage site and a reminder of the delicate balance between people and their environment. Finally, we must mention Antarctica, which, though not part of Oceania itself, lies within the southern reaches of this region's influence. Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent. Yet, it plays a crucial role in global climate systems. Its ice sheets contain most of Earth's fresh water, and its geography influences ocean currents and weather patterns far beyond its frozen coasts. Though largely uninhabited, Antarctica is visited by scientists, explorers, and a growing number of tourists. Drawn to the stark beauty of its icy landscapes, Australia and Oceania remind us that geography is not only about size or power, but also about uniqueness and diversity. From ancient rocks to living reefs, from tiny atolls to towering fjords, this region is a celebration of nature's creativity. It invites us to appreciate the balance between isolation and connection, tradition and modernity, fragility and resilience. Next, we will explore Europe, a continent where diverse landscapes, coastlines, and mountain ranges have shaped centuries of culture, economy, and global history. Europe, though smaller than many continents, holds within its boundaries an extraordinary variety of landscapes and regions. Its geography has long shaped history, culture, and global influence. Unlike Australia or Oceania, where isolation defines much of the geography, Europe's story is one of connections, rivers that link cities, mountain passes that carried armies and traders, and coastlines that opened the way for exploration. This continent, often described as a peninsula of peninsulas, invites us into a journey where land and water are deeply intertwined with human civilization. One of Europe's most striking features is its peninsular structure. The Iberian Peninsula, home to Spain and Portugal, extends into the Atlantic, shaped by rugged mountains like the Pyrenees and coastal plains bathed by Mediterranean sun. The Italian peninsula, narrow and boot-shaped, holds the Apennine Mountains at its core, while its coastlines welcomed ancient trade routes. The Balkan Peninsula, with Greece at its southern edge, is dotted with mountains and islands, where geography gave rise to one of the world's earliest and most influential civilizations. In northern Europe, the Scandinavian peninsula, shared by Norway and Sweden, is dominated by fjords and mountains carved by glaciers. Norway's fjords, such as the famous Geirangerfjord, are long, narrow inlets surrounded by steep cliffs, created when glaciers retreated and seawater filled their valleys. These landscapes are breathtaking natural wonders, drawing tourists from around the world, while also being central to the region's economy through fishing, shipping, and renewable energy. Mountains have played a central role in Europe's history and geography. The Alps, stretching across countries like France, Switzerland, Italy, and Austria, are both a natural barrier and a source of connection. Their snow-capped peaks attract luxury tourism, skiing enthusiasts, and hikers, but they also influence climate and rivers. The Rhine and the Danube, two of Europe's great rivers, have their origins in these mountains, carrying not only water but also culture, commerce, and stories across the continent. The Pyrenees, forming the natural border between Spain and France, are less traversed but equally fascinating. They stand as a barrier that preserve the cultural uniqueness of regions such as Catalonia and the Basque Country. To the east, the Carpathian Mountains curve through Central and Eastern Europe, shaping the folklore and traditions of Romania, Slovakia, and Ukraine. These ranges are home to bears, wolves, and rich biodiversity, offering a glimpse into Europe's wild heart. Europe's rivers tell another story. The Danube, flowing through 10 countries, is often called the lifeblood of Europe. From Germany's Black Forest to the Black Sea, it passes through capitals like Vienna, Budapest, and Belgrade. It has been a corridor for commerce, conquest, and culture for centuries. The Rhine, meanwhile, flows through Switzerland, Germany, and the Netherlands, serving as a major economic artery and a symbol of European unity and identity. The Thames in England, the Seine in France, and the Volga in Russia, each weave local stories into the larger narrative of Europe's geography. The Mediterranean, with its mild climate, fertile soils, and navigable seas, nurtured ancient civilizations. Greece, Italy, and Spain still carry the imprint of cultures that flourished here where geography provided harbors for ships, mountains for defense, and fertile valleys for agriculture. The northern coasts along the North Sea and Baltic Sea shaped the trade networks of the Hanseatic League, where medieval cities like Lübeck and Tallinn rose to prominence thanks to maritime commerce. In Eastern Europe, Russia stretches beyond Europe's traditional borders, but its European side alone contains vast plains, dense forests, and great rivers. The Russian steppes provided fertile grounds for empires and movements of peoples, while Moscow and St. Petersburg grew along rivers that linked them to broader trade networks. Geography here has influenced not only daily life, but also global politics and culture. Climate and environment add another layer of diversity. Southern Europe enjoys Mediterranean climates where olive trees, vineyards, and citrus fruits thrive. This climate has shaped diets, economies, and tourism, drawing millions of visitors seeking sun and cuisine. In contrast, Northern Europe experiences long winters and short summers where forests and lakes dominate the landscape. The tundra of northern Scandinavia and Russia reveals a harsher environment, yet one that sustains reindeer herding and the traditional lifestyles of the people. Europe's geography also explains its extraordinary cultural density. Within relatively small distances, travelers can encounter different languages, cuisines, and traditions. This diversity is a product of both geography and history. Mountains and rivers created natural borders, while coastlines allowed interaction with distant lands. From the luxury of Parisian boulevards to the rustic villages of the Balkans, Europe's landscapes are inseparable from its cultural richness. Tourism thrives because of this interplay. Millions flock to Switzerland for alpine skiing, to Italy for Mediterranean coasts, to Greece for islands scattered like pearls across the sea. Cultural tourism combines with natural beauty, making Europe a leader in global travel. Its geography sustains not only economies, but also dreams of exploration, relaxation, and education. At the same time, Europe faces environmental challenges. Melting glaciers in the Alps, rising sea levels threatening Venice, and deforestation in Eastern Europe remind us of the delicate balance between geography and human activity. Efforts in conservation, renewable energy, and sustainable tourism show how societies are adapting, seeking harmony with the landscapes that have shaped them. Europe's geography is a reminder of how land and culture intertwine. Its mountains stand as silent witnesses to history. Its rivers flow as arteries of connection, and its coastlines invite exploration. This continent may be small in size, but its landscapes and cultural impact are vast, continuing to influence the world in countless ways. Next, we will journey southward into the vast and varied continent of Africa, where deserts, savannas, and river systems reveal the power of scale and diversity in shaping both nature and civilization. Africa, the world's second-largest continent, is a land of striking contrasts, immense diversity, and breathtaking scale. From the golden dunes of the Sahara Desert to the lush forests of the Congo Basin, from the snow-capped summit of Mount Kilimanjaro to the fertile banks of the Nile, Africa is a continent where geography shapes every aspect of life, culture, and history. Its landscapes are not only magnificent, but also vital to global ecosystems and humanity's earliest stories. Let us begin with deserts, for they dominate Africa's northern and southwestern regions. The Sahara, the largest hot desert on Earth, spans an area nearly the size of the United States or China. Its rolling dunes, rocky plateaus, and vast expanses of sand are not barren wastelands, but dynamic environments. Within the Sahara are oases, such as those in Morocco and Egypt, where groundwater sustains palm groves and small villages. Ancient caravan routes once crossed this desert, carrying gold, salt, naan, and dias between sub-Saharan Africa and the Mediterranean world. Even today, its geography shapes economies and migration, reminding us of the delicate balance between harshness and survival. To the south lies the Kalahari Desert, which is not a true desert in the traditional sense. Much of it receives enough rainfall to support grasses, shrubs, and even wildlife. The San people, indigenous inhabitants of the region, have thrived here for thousands of years with intimate knowledge of water, sources, plants, and animals. Similarly, the Namib Desert, with its striking red dunes near Namibia's Skeleton Coast, offers some of the most surreal and photographed landscapes in Africa. This desert meets the Atlantic Ocean in a dramatic contrast of sand and sea, attracting travelers from around the world. Africa's rivers are equally significant, with the Nile perhaps the most famous. Stretching over 6,600 kilometers, it is often considered the longest river in the world. Its waters have nourished civilizations for millennia, particularly in Egypt, where the annual floods deposited rich silt that made agriculture possible in an otherwise desert land. The Nile flows northward, defying expectation, and serves as both a natural highway and a cultural lifeline. Further south, the Congo River twists through dense rainforests, its basin holding the world's second-largest tropical forest after the Amazon. The Congo's rapids and waterfalls provide immense hydroelectric potential, while its waters remain essential for transport and biodiversity. The Niger River, flowing through West Africa, sustains countries such as Mali, Niger, and Nigeria. Along its banks lie cities like Timbuktu, once a thriving center of learning and trade during the golden age of the Mali Empire. Meanwhile, the Zambezi River in southern Africa is famous for Victoria Falls, one of the largest and most spectacular waterfalls on Earth. Known locally as the smoke that thunders, its powerful spray and roar can be felt from miles away. A natural wonder that draws global tourism while also generating hydroelectric energy for Zambia and Zimbabwe. Mountains offer another dimension to Africa's geography. Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa's highest peak, rises nearly 6,000 meters above sea level. Its snow-capped summit surrounded by savannas, creates one of the most iconic images of the continent. Nearby, Mount Kenya and the Rwenzori Mountains provide similar contrasts of glaciers in the tropics. These highlands are not only scenic, but also vital water sources, feeding rivers and supporting agriculture for millions of people. The Great Rift Valley, stretching from the Middle East down through East Africa, is one of the planet's most remarkable geological features. Formed by tectonic activity, it is home to lakes such as Tanganyika and Malawi, some of the deepest and oldest freshwater lakes in the world. These waters support unique species of fish found nowhere else, contributing to global biodiversity. The Rift Valley is also significant for humanity's story. Many fossils of early hominins have been discovered here, earning it the title, the cradle of mankind. Africa's savannas, stretching across countries like Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa, are home to some of the world's most iconic wildlife. Lions, elephants, giraffes, and zebras roam these open grasslands, creating ecosystems that sustain tourism and local economies. The Serengeti, in particular, hosts the Great Migration, where millions of wildebeest and zebras move in search of fresh grazing lands. This cycle of life is one of the most extraordinary natural spectacles on Earth, blending geography with biology in a way that continues to captivate scientists and travelers alike. The continent also boasts rainforests, particularly in Central Africa's Congo Basin. These dense, humid forests are rich in biodiversity, hosting gorillas, okapis, and countless plant species. They also play a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate, acting as massive carbon sinks. The challenge, however, lies in balancing conservation with economic development. As logging, mining, and farming increasingly pressure these ecosystems, Africa's coastlines offer yet another layer of diversity. The Mediterranean coast of North Africa, from Morocco to Egypt, connects the continent with Europe and Asia, shaping cultures of trade and exchange for centuries. The east coast, along the Indian Ocean, has long been tied to maritime trade, linking African ports like Mombasa and Zanzibar with Arabia, India, and beyond. On the west coast, the Atlantic has a different story. Tied to colonial exploration, the transatlantic slave trade, and modern oil economies in nations like Nigeria and Angola, tourism thrives across Africa's diverse geography. Safaris in East Africa, luxury lodges near Cape Town, desert treks in Morocco, and cruises on the Nile attract millions of visitors annually. Geography here becomes a source of economic growth, cultural exchange, and global fascination. Yet, challenges remain. Climate change, desertification, and deforestation threaten ecosystems and livelihoods, making sustainability a crucial part of Africa's future. What makes Africa truly remarkable is how its landscapes are not isolated features, but interconnected systems. Deserts give way to savannas, which connect to forests, which feed rivers, which flow to oceans. Each element sustains life in ways that ripple across communities, economies, and the world. As we leave Africa's immense diversity behind, our journey continues eastward into Asia, the largest and most varied continent of them all. Here we will encounter towering mountains, vast plains, and cultural mosaics shaped by geography on an even greater scale. Asia, the largest continent on Earth, stretches from the icy Arctic tundra in the north to the tropical rainforests of Southeast Asia. It is a land of extremes, both in size and in diversity, where landscapes shift dramatically across thousands of kilometers, shaping cultures, economies, and civilizations that continue to influence the entire world. Its geography is not only immense, but also profoundly complex, weaving together mountains, deserts, rivers, and coastlines in a tapestry that defines nearly half of humanity. The highest mountain range on Earth, rising like a colossal wall between the Indian subcontinent and the Tibetan Plateau. The Himalayas include Mount Everest, the tallest peak at 8,849 meters. These mountains are not merely a barrier. They are also the source of many of Asia's great rivers. Snowmelt from the Himalayas feeds the Ganges, Indus, Mekong, Yangtze, and Yellow rivers, sustaining billions of people downstream. The Himalayas also influence climate by blocking cold winds from Central Asia, allowing the Indian subcontinent to experience warmer, monsoon-driven weather essential for agriculture. Moving north, we reach the steppes of Central Asia, vast grasslands that stretch across Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and into Russia. These open plains were once home to nomadic empires such as the Mongols, whose horsemen traversed immense distances, connecting east and west. Today, these regions remain important for livestock grazing and resource extraction, particularly oil and natural gas that fuel global economies. Deserts form another key feature of Asia's geography. The Gobi Desert, spanning parts of Mongolia and China, is a cold desert with stark, windswept landscapes. Unlike the sandy Sahara, much of the Gobi consists of bare rock and gravel plains, where temperatures can swing drastically between day and night. The Taklamakan Desert in western China is more forbidding. Vast sea of shifting sand dunes, often called the Sea of Death. Historically, traders on the Silk Road skirted its edges, knowing that crossing it directly was almost impossible. Asia is also home to fertile river valleys that gave birth to some of humanity's earliest civilizations. The Indus Valley in modern-day Pakistan and India nurtured one of the world's oldest urban cultures around 5,000 years ago. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia supported Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria, laying foundations for writing, agriculture, and trade. In China, the Yellow River and the Yangtze shaped dynasties that advanced technology, philosophy, and governance. These rivers remain vital today, feeding rice paddies, sustaining megacities, and enabling transportation. The diversity of climates across Asia is extraordinary. In Siberia, winters plunge to some of the coldest temperatures on Earth, with Oymyakon in Russia often recording below -50 degrees Celsius. Yet, in the same continent, Southeast Asia experiences some of the hottest and wettest conditions, with countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines enduring heavy monsoon rains and lush tropical growth. Asia's size ensures that almost every type of climate on Earth can be found here. Mountains beyond the Himalayas also shape Asia's story. The Altai Tian Shan and Hindu Kush ranges serve as natural borders, trade corridors, and cultural crossroads. The Iranian plateau, bordered by mountains and deserts, has long been a heartland of civilizations. Meanwhile, Japan's volcanic mountains, such as Mount Fuji, reflect the dynamic tectonic forces at play in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are common here. Asia's coasts are equally significant. The Pacific coastline of East Asia includes bustling cities like Tokyo, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, hubs of global trade and finance. In South Asia, the Indian Ocean supports centuries-old maritime connections, from spice routes to modern shipping lanes. Asia is also the continent of superlatives. The Caspian Sea, located between Europe and Asia, is the largest inland body of water in the world. The Dead Sea, between Israel and Jordan, is Earth's lowest point on land, sitting more than 400 meters below sea level. Lake Baikal in Siberia is the deepest freshwater lake in the world, holding nearly 1/5 of Earth's unfrozen freshwater. Each of these features adds another dimension to Asia's vast and varied geography. Economically, geography plays a defining role in Asia's rise. Fertile river deltas, such as the Mekong and the Pearl River, support aquaculture and massive populations. Mountain ranges hold mineral wealth, deserts contain oil and gas reserves, and coastlines facilitate booming ports and luxury tourism. For example, Dubai, in the Arabian Peninsula, transformed its desert setting into a global hub of luxury, technology, and travel. Similarly, Singapore, a small island nation at the tip of Malaysia, uses its strategic location to dominate global trade routes. Culturally, Asia's geography has nurtured traditions that remain deeply tied to landscapes. Japan's mountains and forests influence Shinto beliefs. Deserts, such as the Gobi-shaped nomadic lifestyles, while rice paddies in Southeast Asia define daily life, cuisine, and rituals. Geography here is more than terrain, it is identity, heritage, and continuity. Yet Asia's immense geography also poses challenges. Melting glaciers in the Himalayas threaten water supplies for millions. Rising seas endanger coastal megacities like Jakarta, Bangkok, and Manila. Rapid economic growth strains ecosystems, from deforestation in Borneo to air pollution in industrial hubs. Balancing development with sustainability is one of Asia's greatest challenges for the future. As we leave Asia, we reflect on how its landscapes contain both the harshest environments and the most fertile ones, the tallest peaks and the lowest valleys, the oldest civilizations and the fastest growing economies. Asia is a continent of contrasts, so vast that it feels like many worlds contained within one. From here, our journey shifts toward Oceania region of islands scattered across the Pacific Ocean, where geography takes on a different scale, emphasizing the relationship between land, sea, and sky. Oceania, though often seen as small compared to continents like Asia or Africa, stretches across an immense portion of our planet. Its lands are scattered across the vast Pacific Ocean, the largest body of water on Earth, covering 1/3 of the globe's surface. Unlike other regions where land dominates, here the sea is the defining element. The geography of Oceania blends volcanic islands, coral atolls, and highland rainforests, creating a region where people, culture, and nature are shaped by the rhythm of the ocean. Oceania is often divided into 3 main regions: Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. Each holds its own unique landscapes and histories. Melanesia, which includes countries like Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and the Solomon Islands, is characterized by rugged highlands, active volcanoes, and lush tropical forests. Papua New Guinea alone contains extraordinary biodiversity. Some scientists believe that more than 5% of the world's species live there, many still undiscovered. The highlands of New Guinea are also home to diverse cultures, with hundreds of distinct languages spoken, making it one of the most linguistically rich areas in the world. Micronesia, by contrast, is composed mainly of small islands and atolls scattered across the western Pacific. These islands, such as Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, and Palau, are low-lying and vulnerable to rising sea levels. Despite their size, their cultural heritage is vast. Ancient navigators of Micronesia were skilled in wayfinding, using stars, waves, and bird flight patterns to travel thousands of kilometers without modern instruments. This knowledge, passed down orally, remains one of the great achievements of human exploration. Polynesia stretches across the central and southern Pacific, encompassing thousands of islands from Hawaii in the north to New Zealand in the southwest and Easter Island in the east. The Polynesian Triangle, as it is known, represents one of the most remarkable feats of human migration. Centuries before Europeans crossed the Atlantic, Polynesians sailed across immense distances, settling islands separated by thousands of kilometers. Their voyages, guided by celestial navigation and intimate knowledge of the sea, remain a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. Among Oceania's most dramatic landscapes are its volcanic islands. The Pacific Ring of Fire ensures that volcanic activity is common here. Islands like Hawaii were born entirely from volcanic eruptions, rising from the ocean floor to form peaks such as Mauna Kea, which, if measured from its base under the sea, is taller than Mount Everest. Today, Hawaii's volcanic activity continues to shape its land, with new land forming as lava meets the ocean. This constant renewal reflects the dynamic nature of Oceania's geography. New Zealand stands as another geographic jewel in Oceania. Its two main islands offer striking contrasts. The South Island is home to the Southern Alps, glaciers, and fjords reminiscent of Norway, while the North Island features geothermal landscapes, volcanic plateaus, and subtropical forests. New Zealand's location also makes it a hotspot for biodiversity, with unique species such as the kiwi bird and ancient tuatara reptile found nowhere else on Earth. Culturally, its geography has nurtured both Mbori traditions tied to the land and sea, and a modern economy built on agriculture, tourism, and renewable energy. Australia, the largest landmass in Oceania, brings yet another layer of geographic diversity. Much of its interior is desert, known as the Outback, a region of sparse rainfall, red sands, and striking rock formations like Uluru. Yet, Australia also has fertile coasts, tropical rainforests in Queensland, and the world's largest coral reef system, the Great Barrier Reef. This natural wonder, stretching over 2,300 kilometers, is so vast it can be seen from space. It is a global treasure of marine biodiversity, attracting tourism while facing threats from climate change and coral bleaching. Smaller islands across Oceania hold their own unique wonders. The island of Palau is famed for its rock islands limestone formations rising dramatically from turquoise waters. Tonga is one of the few places on Earth where visitors can swim alongside humpback whales in their natural habitat. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, is home to the mysterious Moai statues, carved centuries ago by Polynesian ancestors, standing as silent sentinels facing inland. These geographic and cultural landmarks highlight the deep relationship between people and place in Oceania's. Geography also defines Oceania's challenges. Many islands are low-lying, only a few meters above sea level, and thus face an existential threat from climate change. Countries such as Tuvalu and Kiribati may lose large portions of their land to rising oceans within this century. This looming crisis has made Oceania a key voice in global discussions about sustainability, environmental responsibility, and the future of coastal communities. Tourism plays an essential role in the economies of many oceanic nations. Luxury travel destinations like Bora Bora, Fiji, and the Maldives, often culturally connected to Oceania, though technically part of South Asia, attract visitors seeking pristine beaches, coral reefs, and serenity. Adventure tourism thrives as well, with travelers drawn to New Zealand's fjords, Australia's outback, and Hawaii's volcanic hikes. This combination of natural wonder and cultural depth gives Oceania a unique position in global travel and luxury experiences. The Pacific Ocean itself is perhaps the most defining feature of this region. It is not just a body of water. It is a highway, a provider, and a cultural anchor. For centuries, Pacific Islanders viewed the ocean not as a pathway connecting distant islands. Their perspective contrasts with many land-based cultures, emphasizing connection and fluidity rather than isolation. Today, modern shipping, fishing, and undersea cables continue to make the Pacific essential to global trade and technology. As we reflect on Oceania, we see that its geography is more than islands. It is a living network of land and sea, where people have learned to thrive in harmony with some of Earth's most remote and fragile environments. The region teaches us about resilience, creativity, and the enduring bond between humans and nature. From here, we turn to our final continent, Antarctica, a land of ice and mystery. It represents the last great frontier of Earth's geography, where extremes of cold and isolation reveal the power and fragility of our planet. At the southernmost edge of our planet lies a world unlike any other, and like any other, Antarctica. This vast icy landmass covers an area of about 14 million square kilometers, making it nearly twice the size of Australia. Yet, despite its size, it remains the least inhabited and least explored continent. Its geography is defined by extremes. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest place on Earth. And while it may appear lifeless from afar, Antarctica holds some of the most remarkable and surprising facts in global geography. Almost all of Antarctica, about 98%, is covered by ice. This ice sheet is the largest on Earth, holding around 60% of the planet's fresh water. If it were to melt entirely, global sea levels would rise by more than 50 meters. An unimaginable transformation for coastal cities and nations around the world. The sheer scale of this ice means that Antarctica plays a crucial role in regulating Earth's climate. Its reflective surface helps cool the planet, while its glaciers and ice shelves influence ocean currents and sea levels. Temperatures in Antarctica can be breathtakingly cold. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was measured here, minus 89.2 degrees Celsius, at the Soviet Union's Vostok station in 1983. More recent satellite data has suggested that some places in the interior may reach even lower extremes, close to minus 93 degrees Celsius. Such conditions are beyond human endurance without advanced technology and protection, reminding us of the raw, unforgiving power of nature. Despite these harsh conditions, life finds a way to exist. Along Antarctica's coasts, the Southern Ocean teems with life. Here, cold waters are rich in nutrients, supporting krill, small, shrimp-like creatures that form the foundation of the marine food web. Penguins, seals, whales, and seabirds depend on these tiny organisms, creating one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth. Emperor penguins, the largest of all penguin species, endure brutal winters by huddling together in colonies, sharing warmth and protecting their young. Their survival strategies are as remarkable as the icy world they inhabit. Geographically, Antarctica is divided into East and West. East Antarctica is the larger, more stable part, dominated by a thick ice sheet resting on ancient bedrock. West Antarctica, however, is more vulnerable, with much of its ice resting below sea level. Scientists monitor this region closely as its glaciers, such as the Thwaites Glacier, often nicknamed the Doomsday Glacier, are retreating more rapidly than expected, raising concerns about their contribution to sea level rise. Beneath the ice lies another hidden world. Scientists have discovered subglacial lakes sealed off for millions of years beneath kilometers of ice. Lake Vostok, one of the largest, covers an area about the size of Lake Ontario in North America. These lakes may harbor unique microbial life, offering insights into evolution and possibly even extraterrestrial life. Since conditions there are thought to resemble icy moons like Europa or Enceladus, Antarctica also has mountain ranges, valleys, and volcanoes. The Transantarctic Mountains stretch for over 3,500 kilometers, dividing East and West Antarctica. Mount Vinson, at 4,892 meters, is the continent's highest peak, and one of the 7 summits climbers aspire to reach. Mount Erebus, on Ross Island, is one of the southernmost active volcanoes on Earth. Its lava lake, constantly bubbling within the crater, presents a stark contrast to the frozen environment that surrounds it. Unlike other continents, Antarctica has no permanent human population. Instead, it hosts international research stations where scientists from around the world live and work temporarily. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, established the continent as a place dedicated to peace, science, and environmental protection. Military activity, mining, and nuclear testing are prohibited, making it one of the most unique examples of global cooperation. This treaty reflects humanity's recognition of Antarctica's value not just for science, but for the entire planet's well-being. Tourism in Antarctica, though limited and heavily regulated, has been growing in recent decades. Luxury cruises navigate icy waters, allowing travelers to see towering glaciers, penguin colonies, and dramatic icebergs. Some adventurers even camp on the ice or trek across parts of the continent, experiencing firsthand the raw beauty of this frozen frontier. Yet, strict rules ensure that tourism does not harm fragile ecosystems. Antarctica's untouched landscapes remind us of the importance of responsible travel and the balance between curiosity and conservation. One of Antarctica's most dramatic features is its icebergs. When massive chunks of ice break off from glaciers, they can float into the Southern Ocean, some larger than entire cities. In 2001, iceberg, known as B15, broke away from the Ross Ice Shelf. It was about 295 kilometers long and 37 kilometers wide, making it the largest iceberg ever recorded. These floating giants drift for years, slowly melting as they move into warmer waters. Though Antarctica is isolated, it connects deeply with the rest of the world. Its ice influences global sea levels. Its cold waters drive ocean currents that regulate climate, and its unique ecosystem supports wildlife that migrates across oceans. The health of Antarctica is directly tied to the health of the planet, making it one of the most important regions for scientific study and environmental protection. As we close this journey through the continents and regions of Earth, Antarctica reminds us of the planet's extremes, fragility, its resilience, and its deep interconnections. Geography is not only about maps and landscapes. It's about understanding how every corner of the world shapes life, culture, and the balance of nature. We have traveled through mountains, deserts, forests, rivers, islands, and oceans. We have discovered facts that sound unbelievable, yet are true. And we have explored the ways geography defines history, economy, and culture. From the bustling cities of Asia to the icy silence of Antarctica, the Earth reveals itself as endlessly fascinating and deeply interconnected. And now, as you prepare to rest, may these stories of our world linger softly in your mind. The Earth is vast, full of beauty and wonder, and every place from the warm tropics to the frozen poles reminds us of the miracle of life on our planet.